I'm so excited to have Janina Gavankar joining the Nerds of Color once again. I was just telling you, almost exactly 4 years. A lot has happened in those 4 years.
Two of them don't count.
Well, that's true. That's true. But a lot has happened for you in those 2.5 virtual years, right?
Yeah.
You're on Big Sky, you're on the morning show, and you have this amazing new movie that just came out on Amazon called Encounter. Just look back at the last couple years and just, aside from the global pandemic, which is kind of a tie-in a little bit into Encounter. What has the world been for you in the last couple years?
Oh my gosh. Well, I feel like I've just been luckily working the whole time, but it's been strange. So I had a movie come out called The Way Back, and it was so special
with Mr. Batman himself,
Mr. Batfleck himself. And it came out the week of the lockdown, and no one saw it.
Right.
And that was really hard. And I was shooting a pilot, and then that shut down. And then I came home, and it was the first time I had sat on my couch and sort of had quote unquote time off in a few years.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize how much I needed it. So I sort of sat on my ass and looked at my house and was like, I don't even know the last time I've been here. And that was really welcome. And then that got old very quickly. Mm-hmm. And my creative partner, Russo, and I got to work. And we started writing and developing the things that that's what we do. And then the morning show went back to work in October. So I started shooting some video games and the morning show at the exact same time, which was super intense. And then I went from that to, I'm forgetting some stuff, but then I shot the Borderlands movie, and then came back, and then I think I finished I honestly don't know, but
it's a blur is what you're saying,
because what is time anymore, but exactly. It's been super intense.
What was it like? Did you say the morning show was the first thing you went back on, or was it video?
It was both a video game, and I was doing my life was basically COVID tests, because I was driving from one side of LA to the other because they wouldn't talk to each other. The testing programs wouldn't talk to each other. So it was 2 different video games and the morning show all at the same time.
Is there because voiceover, you're in a booth, you're kind of isolated already. Like, are the protocols different to go back to like voice work than like being on a set and sitting next to people within close proximity?
Yes, but this was performance capture.
So true. Right. That's right.
In full performance capture suits, very close to each other, it's just the same as you're on set, basically.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so what was that like, other than the constant swabbing of the nostrils? Was it just awkward, or were you just so glad to be out of lockdown that it's like, stick as many Q-tips up my nose as you want, I just want to be around people again?
Well, I'm definitely the how many swabs you got, just keep telling me that I don't have it. Right. I've never gotten it, touch wood. So, I had to go to the Disney lot today because I'm working on Thursday. I'm fine with it. I'm like, just keep testing me.
Right.
So there's that part of it. But the other thing is, like, it had been a half a year, and you just sort of forget how to be around people. Not just that, but you forget how much intake you have. And I have the ADHD affliction, so we get overstimulated very quickly, and so that was happening at a rate that I felt like it had never happened to me before, where I was just like exhausted from just being in front of another person. So it happens.
I mean, bright side, right? Like, you're a hardcore gamer, and being a very busy actress must be difficult to maintain the gaming, but you had 6 months of PlayStation and Xboxes just kind of like sitting there in front of you. I mean, at least you got all your gaming in during
Yeah,
quarantine, right?
I played Control, and oh yeah, I 100% in Control. I really love the Studio Remedy, and I think that they've always been kind of ahead of the curve. And you're right. That was a good time for me. For
Little
sure.
that's the one silver lining at least.
Yeah.
So did you shoot Encounter post COVID, or was that
Yeah.
was that in works before shutdown?
Yes. So that might have been the other thing that I shot. No, maybe I shot Encounter first. Oh, I'm an idiot. I can't remember anything. I might have shot Encounter before I shot season 2 of the morning show coming back.
Well,
what is time?
Exactly. We've established already that the last 18, 19, 20, it's almost 2 years now, where it was just didn't exist. It was all in our heads. And but the reason I asked about the movie, without spoiling too much, because the one thing that I was thankful for is that I went in completely blind. I didn't know what it was about. Like, I didn't watch any trailers. I knew that Riz Ahmed had this amazing movie coming out, and Sound of Metal was on Amazon, so it was like his second Amazon movie. So I was like, is this going to be as good as Sound of Metal? And went in completely blind. It was said it was a sci-fi flick, so I was like, okay, that's cool. Mm-hmm. But without spoiling, the one thing I will say that it kind of follows a man's paranoia, the paranoia about these tiny microbes inside of people that are spreading from person to person. And I was just wondering, like, how much of the pandemic did you kind of use as inspiration? I know your character is not as wrapped up in the pandemic, but you're aware of Malik's delusions and
well, she is and she isn't, right? So the thing that so when I heard about the project and knew that Riz was in it before I even knew that Michael Pierce was the director. I love his first film, Beast. It's amazing. So when I joined the project, I knew that it was like you're going to learn a little bit very quickly about Pia, which we have to talk about her name as well. But because this is really just like Riz's movie, right? Yeah, so I was like very excited.
Riz and the kids,
yeah, and Riz is an old friend, so I was just excited to just sort of like support his next thing. And but we talked a lot about what our backstory was, how we met, how we feel about each other, and what it was like to break up.
Right, and it's not a spoiler to say you're his ex-wife in the film. And,
it's very clear in the first 10 minutes. Exactly. In the first 10 minutes. Yeah, in the first 10 minutes, you see that there is some kind of Riz's character, Malik, is monitoring the spread of something and decides to save his children from it.
That's the instigating factor, let's say.
Yeah, that's the first half of the first act. I think that we sort of established that it was a very hard breakup and that Pia didn't want to leave him, but she had to do what was best for her children at the time, which is what any woman would do in that situation. Yeah.
There's not a lot of screen time that you guys share, but I was going to ask you,
like, any. Yeah, none.
You have a phone call basically. And I'm not even sure if that's you on the other line when he's at the payphone.
It's me, but we weren't together. Right.
It wasn't like you were just off screen, like talking to him, right?
Nope.
But I wanted to ask though, and you kind of answered it. Like, did you at least get to collaborate on the marriage and the backstory? And I would love to see that movie. And this is not the kind of film that kind of has prequels and sequels, but I would love the prequel of the Pia Malik love story, because I do think there's something there. I mean, even though you're not in the film on screen a lot, your shadow is cast, right? Because it's like the kids are talking about their mom and he's, you, again, I don't want to spoil, but like you're retching and throwing up for various reasons that we learn, that's implied, why your character throws up a lot in the beginning of the movie. That's a big, come see Janina throw up in a movie.
Yeah, no, you'll never see it. You sort of hear it in the background.
Off screen.
It's not that kind of movie. Don't worry.
But
you're
no,
right.
but like you know,
right.
Pia is your relationship is cast across the film, and I was just wondering, like, would you like to see that film? I mean, I know you guys worked on that backstory. That's something I'm very much interested in seeing the
Pia
Malik story.
Yeah, well, first of all, that's all you can ask for, right? Because it's not a TV show, it's not a mini series, it's a movie. You have 3 acts, and it's a slice. It's a slice of it's not a video game. It's a slice of the story, right? So, all you can do is try to do as much work to cast that shadow, to make people feel the presence of that backstory and the stakes. So you know that there is something at home. So there is, you got to come with a lot of life. Otherwise, when he goes off with the children, if you don't know what the conflict is, then there's nothing. What's the movie? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Conflict is king in almost any story that you tell.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're right. You know, the first thing that we did, I had a conversation with Michael, and we talked about the characters and sort of what my idea of the backstory was, and sort of my relationship to the children. And then I asked him, because at the time, I think that maybe I have forgotten what Riz's character's name is. I could look it up in the original script. My character's name was something like, I don't know, like Amber. And then the kids were Jake and Jack and Bobby. And I was like, all right, so you now have Riz Ahmed and Janina Gavankar and Aditya Gadalik. Like, you've got all these beautiful names that are not cornbread American.
Right.
Even though I am cornbread American.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, I do love that, you know, your character's named Pia, he's named Malik. But like, at first I was wondering, like, what is the setting of the movie? Because Riz has this amazing kind of like John Berthal accent throughout the film. Like this Texan. Is he a Texan? And he's supposed to be a Texan? Because he's got like a Southern accent, but like the movie takes place in like Nevada.
He based his accent off of Houston, the Houston accent.
So that was amazing, right? Like, I love that, you know, I if you don't know, I run a podcast called like Southern Fried Asian, which is about Asian Americans who grew up in the South.
Why am I not listening to this podcast? Let me tell you right now and subscribe.
There you go. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. But no, but like Riz kind of like nailed it. And again, I love that, you know, even though you are South Asians in this film, you're also very American, like very cornbread American, but you retain a lot of some of the cultural specificity just even in the names alone and in the casting. And that was a really amazing aspect of the film. And kind of just, there you go, hit that subscribe button, smash that subscribe, Hulk smash the subscribe button. Thank you very much. Maybe I need to get Riz on, just to, even though he's not technically Southern, maybe he's from South London.
That's the funny thing, dude, is that, you know, another thing that he and I talked about was like, we were setting all this stuff, and I was like, the irony here is that in this moment in history where we're talking about representation so much, we have this family, and then I think the outside world is looking at these 2 brown people that, you know, we call ourselves Desi. So anybody out there who doesn't know this term, that basically Desi, DES, means the South Asia, like the South Asian part of the world. And we didn't put the border between Pakistan and India. So we also say like Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka, so there's a lot of the West Indies even. Like, if you feel like you are of South Asia, then we're like, come on in. It's very inclusive. I love it. But the funny thing is, so from the outside, people are like, oh, y'all are like the same. But he is a dude from the UK.
He's a rapper.
I'm from Joliet, Illinois, and like studied classical music. We are hella different, you guys. So, you know, it's one of those beautiful things where it's like, we're actually very, very different. And we got to come together and create this little Americana family.
Yeah. And it's great. And speaking of that family, those kids, man, were you blown away by their abilities on set as I was as an audience member, just kind of watch, especially the older kid. And I apologize, I don't remember the actor's name, but
So his
was
name's
Jay.
Lucien, but he goes by River, which is his middle name. So you can call him
Okay,
River.
so River, I think he's like, what, he's 12, but he's like got the maturity and soul of like a 30-year-old. I mean,
Yeah,
he's amazing.
super weird. These kids sometimes they just show up this way, you know.
Yeah. What was it like with
Um,
them on set? Because you're their mom and
so the
you
thing
have
that
to
struck me
help
the
that.
most is that River had a certain sweetness available to him with Aditya. You don't
Hmm.
know if that's going to be the case,
Hmm.
right? Because you cast these kids, and so I'm having a flashback. So when I was working on True Blood, I had a daughter
Hmm.
on the show. And I remember being in the makeup trailer, and Anna Paquin was on the other side. And she's like, "How's your kid?" I was like, "She's great." And she's like, "Child actors freak me out." I was like,
Anna Paquin
"Anna
saying
Paquin,
it.
ma'am, you are not allowed to say this."
Do you know where
And
you come from?
yeah. I sort of said, like, "What are you, lady?" And she was like, my mother was very specific. She was like, "This is my daughter. We're not precocious. We don't say things to get the laughs. We don't hang out with the adults. This is a child. She's my child." And you just don't, the the child is so at the mercy of the parent
Yeah.
in this industry.
Yeah, absolutely.
And both parents for River and Aditya are wonderful.
And Encounter was Aditya's first movie, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's wild.
I
Like the
know.
thing that they're asked, the stuff that those kids are asked to do as well, for that to be his first movie, that's, and to act beside Riz Ahmed, like
I
in a
know.
car
But
getting
the
yelled
thing is,
at.
the great thing is that they have no idea, right?
Yeah,
They
that's
have
true.
no idea who they're dealing with, because, like, there's that beautiful evolutionary thing where children intrinsically know they're there to replace you, so you are just like old news,
Yeah, yeah.
So I think that isn't really a thing, unless they had maybe seen him in Venom or something. Maybe they knew him.
Star Wars, you gotta
Oh
have that
yeah,
in the
I totally
background,
forgot about
like, oh,
Star
duh.
Wars.
A
Oh my
little indie movie called Rogue One he was in.
such an idiot. I forgot
Well,
about Rogue
like
One.
I wasn't sure, wanted to ask the question, but like, since you two are alums of that galaxy far, far away, and I know the timeline doesn't work for like Bodhi Rook and Iden Versio to kind of be in the same narrative, but weirder shit has happened in the Star Wars universe. Like maybe a descendant of Bodhi Rook, right? Like before he was vanquished from the planet of
Who
Scarif.
knows? Who
No,
knows?
no spoilers, but like, I would love a Bodhi Rook Iden Versio team up somehow. We got
Oh,
to
that
figure
would be
that out. We got
great.
to
That
figure
would be
that out.
great. Yeah, but the thing is, like, we are artist allies. That we got a lot of life ahead of us, and it doesn't even have to be as actors,
Mhm.
to be able to be the 1-2 punch together.
Yeah.
It has a full production company, so do I. We have a lot of stories that we're going to tell in the future, and the support and kind of overlap. You don't know. But that's the great thing about being an artist. It's, you just kind of just keep making things, and if you're lucky enough to find the people that you love, then you just, keep calling them, "Hey, you want to do this one? What about
Yeah,
this one?"
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I just want to thank you, Janina, for taking some time out of your busy schedule to talk with us at the NOC. Let's not wait another 4 years. Hopefully, we can have you back
Seriously.
much sooner. But until then, what are some of the other things that you got going on that folks can check out, other than
Oh,
Encounter,
goodness.
which is on Amazon Prime right now?
Okay. Well, I don't have it's been a while since I've done like a sit down. So I don't have my little list. You know how people are like, oh,
You gotta
I
go
don't
off
have,
the dome. You gotta go off the
yeah,
dome.
off the dome. Okay. Well, I'm working on Big Sky, which is an ABC show right now. The character is so much fun. She's just the quote unquote villain.
Yeah, I was gonna
That's
say,
not how
you're a bad
so
guy.
much
This is
fun.
your first. I mean, is this your
I'm
first
sure. Well, what
bad
is
guy?
Iden Versio to you?
Well, I mean, she's not a bad guy.
Thank you. I agree.
I mean, you're a straight up bad guy on Big Sky. Like, there's no. I mean,
I mean,
but
I didn't yourself.
Well, sure. Well, that's the thing, right? No villain sees
no villain. Yeah,
villain.
every villain is the hero of their own story.
But then Aiden was like not a villain. But anyway, that's a whole other podcast.
That is a whole other podcast that we should do.
Absolutely, 100%.
So I'm doing Big Sky. I'm working on quite a few games right now. The only one that's really been announced is Forspoken. And then I don't know if I didn't talk to you after this happened, but Russo, my creative partner, and I released a short film a while ago at this point, but it won at South by Southwest, and it's been seen 38 million times online. So if you haven't seen it, you're not part of that 38 million. What the heck?
Yeah, we'll drop the link in the description below for sure.
It's called Stucco. I shot it here in this house with a bunch of my friends, just like people do when they make short films, and it's hella weird. So just strap in. And I'm sure there's a bunch of other stuff that I've forgotten, but that is okay. We have other things to talk about eventually. Oh, and then I shot Borderlands. Oh my God, I went and shot the Borderlands film. So I'll come back and we'll talk about that tomorrow.
That's amazing. Well, let's get that on the schedule. We'll definitely have you back. We don't have to wait until what would be 2025, hopefully, to talk to Janina again. Thank you so much, Janina, for talking with us. And if they want to find you, they just find you on social media at
Janina. Janina.
Like, you got in on the ground floor. How cool is that? You're like one of the few people who get to use your own name on social media.
Yeah. Early adopting all over the internet.
There you go. Thank you so much. And again, check out Encounter. It's on Prime Video, and it's an amazing movie.
Riz is that. He's the real deal. He is that motherfucker.
He's that dude. He is that dude.
Can I say that?
Go for it. Yeah. Fuck it.
Whatever. Fuck it.
Fuck it. That's how we're ending. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Boys, professional artists and professors. Maybe a nerd who's just like you, talking about the things that you like too. So I invite you to the NOC. In full color, you see me